Welcome, guys, to Metallarium Pages. It's a great pleasure to talk with you about Tsjuder, this new album, Hellberg, I think it's in Norwegian name, so Hellberg, and more things related to the metal world. So, we'll start with a common question: How has band been the band during the last 8 years? Because your last album was released in 2015. Now you're releasing a new album. So,
yeah, well, a lot of things happened with Tsjuder for those 8 years or after Entrevista. First of all, we were playing quite a few concerts, and we did re-record Throne of the Goat. And then we started to make new music, and one thing led to another, and we parted ways with Entrevista. And that was, I believe, 2019. And yeah, then it was back to me and Rauglin, and we got John Rice to play drums on the new album. So we recorded and mixed the new album, and it's due to be released in 3 weeks, I guess, 23rd of June. So that's the short. That's 8 years in 30 seconds.
Okay. Well, 20 years have passed since you start this entity called Tsjuder. So, and with the launch of the launch of the newer release is so close, as you told me. What are the feelings that overwhelmed you to release this new album? Are there any new feelings at the moment when you release the new album, or perhaps you're going back and have the same feelings that you got when the old albums released during the time in this Tsjuder career?
I think like the feelings or the inspiration for Helveger is pretty much the same as the inspiration for all the Tsjuder albums. So, I mean, we have played a long time. I think it's 30 years or so. But I think like the essence of Tsjuder has remained the same for all these years, and also the inspiration. But of course, we have evolved as musicians, and also the lineup has. I mean, it's been Nag and me, of course, but around us there has been some lineup changes and so. But for us, at least for me, it feels pretty much the same as as a couple of decades ago.
Okay. Yeah. Well, speaking of which, so what is like to work under the label like Season of Mist? What is the relationship between a label of this size has with you? Does this label has this kind of camaraderie, well, like a friends, like something like that, or is just a business relationship?
We have been with Season of Mist for about 20 years now. And I think Season of Mist was it was still a quite big company when we joined them, but it's grown quite much during those 20 years. So from the very beginning we were in touch with Michael, which is the big boss himself, both Michael Jr. and Michael Sr. And during the years we have been working with, I won't say everyone in Season of Mist, but quite many, and they are doing an excellent job. For us, they are a label which does a great job. It's really nice meeting them at festivals, concerts, whatever. And right now we are, of course, in close contact with several people from Season of Mist because of the release of the album. So we have a we're in contact with them quite often. Right now it's more or less every day. But I wouldn't say it's a camaraderie in the same way. I mean, it is when we meet up and stuff, but yeah.
Okay, listening to the entire album, I can see some unique details regarding to this new album, and something that I have noticed is the work that has been done or for this new logo, and the same time the new cover art of the album. So even this is records, and I think it one no. So one of the songs of this record is the most slowest song that ever made by you. So what was the idea of relaunching the Tsjuder with all these new aspects and a slower song, the cover art, and the new logo?
Regarding the song, I guess it's Helvegger you're thinking about. And yes, it's a slow song, especially for us, but it's just ended like that. It's not like sitting down and thinking, let's make a slow song, but the song turned out to be that, and it was kind of surprising afterwards that there's not a single fast riff there. But I think also if you listen to that song, you can hear again like inspirations and themes from bands that have always inspired Tsjuder, like there's some Celtic Frost there and Pentagram if you listen closely and stuff like that. And also it's a bit exciting, I think, to make a slow song for a change. Yeah.
Yeah, but as you said, it wasn't intentional. None of our songs are, or at least very few. We decide that now we want to make it slow or fast or whatever. There's typically one riff, and it builds from that riff, and it just evolves and turns out the way it does. Regarding the artwork, that was also kind of an evolving process. So I think at that point when we started working with it, we decided that the title was going to be Helvegger. So the art itself is drawn by Laura Nardelli from Italy. So what she did was she made like a first small sketch, and we gave feedback, and then it was a ball going back and forth. And also we had Jonas Svensson, which was kind of the middleman. He was putting everything together. Yeah, so the artwork was an evolving process together with us and Jonas and Laura. And regarding the logo, since we got the logo in 96, I think it was, it's been quite hard to work with on, for example, t-shirts and stuff, because it's not symmetrical. So we always have to offset the logo a little bit. And on the Helvegger cover, it will open like this, like a book. So the unsymmetrical logo was a big problem. So we had to do something with that. And so Jonas made a new logo based on the old one. We were very particular that it should stay true to the original logo. So yeah, I mean, that's the short story about the change of logo.
Okay. Well, regarding this, I remember one interview that you did, and when said that the Tsjuder had a DNA and it had to be respected for that. So do you feel that despite in fact that this base is maintained, there are new elements like logo, cover art, the slower song had not been used before. So did you think to use before in the old days, or perhaps with the maybe considering to use at that time like now? And likewise, by the way, so the result of this new album is a great one. So perhaps do you think in the past you use this kind of aspect to change completely the whole face on this Tsjuder?
Regarding the logo, I think we will use probably both logos. So just that said.
And also the new logo is really similar to the old one. So this is not like, I mean, there are lots of bands that are abandoning the black metal type logo and replacing it with something that is easier to read and stuff like that. And that's not what we do here. It's just a small change in the old logo. So it's not meant to signify anything other than that.
I also think that the music on the new album and the sound is actually more more old school again.
Yeah.
So I mean, all Tsjuder albums and all songs we've ever made has been in the Tsjuder spirit, so to say. But it's of course the sound on the albums can change the music quite a bit, and at least I'm very happy with Helvegger, because it's much more it represents Tsjuder much more than for example Antler. So
Okay. Well, talking about an album, you told me about the discography, and we try to relate with this aspect with the fans. So the fans always talks about the first two or the first three albums are the best works to date from the band. Oh, I remember that a lot of reviewers, a lot of recommendations from Loudwire, Metal Hammer said that the Desert Notre Hell is your milestone in your career. So, but usually a counterproductive thing is that the last effort of the band is the best work for them. So even for you, I think this is the last record is for you the best work. So what is your opinion about this aspect that the fans sometimes is attached for one album, for the first two, and the band is related with the last work is the best effort? Do you think like that? Or perhaps you think the best effort from this shooter is a different kind of work? No Desert Notre Hell, nor Kill for Satan, or perhaps for you is Legion Helvete for the best work. Who knows?
I think I think time will tell. So as you said, when you work with new music, you kind of have to believe that this will be the best we have ever done. Otherwise, I think it will be hard to. I mean, otherwise there's no reason, right? And then when a couple of years after, we can see which album kind of stands the test of time. And for us, I think especially Desert Northern Hell has been like proven to be kind of solid. It's still interesting to listen to. I think Helvegger will, but as I said, you always think the last album is the best, but I think Helvegger will be even better than Desert Northern Hell. And yeah, I hope we can say the same in like 5 or 10 years that Helvegger is still interesting to listen to, because I think that's the interesting part with, I mean, really good music is something you can listen to again and again without getting tired. But we'll see.
I totally agree, and but I also think that it's got to do with sound. We have never been particularly good in studio. I mean, me and Rauglin, we have kind of done our part, and then you have, for example, 2 weeks in studio, and you have very limited time to do the album. And of course, we have kind of approved the sound, and we have been part of making the sound, but we haven't been hands-on enough. So on Helvegger, it's a completely different. We worked with the album for, I don't know, mixing for 1.5 years, I think, trying different guitar amps and sounds, and we were just using whatever time we felt we needed to find the sound we wanted. And I think if we've done that on all albums, yes, Desert would still be great album, but I think also the other ones would be higher up, at least for us personally, because I think both me and Rauglin would like to change the sound on probably most of the albums except for Desert. So
So what happens this time was a bit different, because usually you book a studio and then you have, say, 1 week or 2 weeks or whatever, if you're a small band like us, and then you have to finish. But this time we had this COVID-19, so we couldn't book a studio. So we did this with Northwest Studio. So it's a studio, but he's also a friend, so everything was different. So we didn't have this strict timeline.
No, okay. Well, one thing that I want to ask you a lot of time, because when I hear for the first time the Tsjuder was in Throne of the God in 1997, then your first album Kid for Satan 2000. But the one curious thing about the band's form in 1993, well, by the name under the name Ikor at that time, but then you decide to change the now to Tsjuder. So, but the curious thing is why the band delayed, well, 7 years to release their first album, Kills for Satan, at that time, because it's very weird. I'm from Latin America. From Latin America, it's normally that a band here delays 15 years, 20 years to release their first album. But in Europe, the things works differently. A lot of bands in the 90s release albums, EPs, etc., very fast. It's not like here. So that's why I always think, why should there delay 7 years to release your first album?
I think there are several answers to that question. One of the reasons is that the band was pretty much me and Rauglin, and we were trying to get a permanent drummer, which was quite hard. So getting a drummer was one big problem. Also, probably the reason why me and Rauglin has been able to play together for 30 years is that we are different. We are similar but different. I'm the one who's eager to kind of release something, and Rauglin is the one holding back. So it's in a good way. I push him and he holds me back, kind of thing. But I think primarily it was because we wanted to have a more permanent lineup with a good drummer. So I mean, we recorded stuff since we started playing, and we released the first demo in 95 and one in 96, and then go to 97. And after 97, I felt that the lineup on Trodden the Goat was exceptionally good, except that afterwards, Diabolus Mort and Desecrator, they decided to do other stuff than focus on Tsjuder. So our plan got kind of fucked up by that. It was back to me and Rauglin, and we kind of had to start over again to get a drummer. And also, I think it's got to do with money, because we were young and we didn't have any money we couldn't spend thousands of Norwegian or I don't know, hundreds of dollars to go to a studio. We just didn't have the money to do that. So we were kind of, our best bet was to find a cheap studio. And do whatever we were able to do with as little as possible.
This was before you could use your computer, right? So you had to find a place, and you need like tape machines and everything. So it was way more difficult and expensive to record stuff in the early 90s.
Well, yeah. I have always thought that the black metal bands express themselves in their splendor in their live presentations or performance. So do you think like same? Because I mean, I think the Tsjuder is really live, and always this like environment that around you is very very mystical. I don't know. It's like my feeling that when I saw your presentations live in YouTube and any other etc. I saw all you have a little different kind of black metal when you present live. So have you prepared anything new for the tours of this new record?
No. Well, we are conservative and boring. We stay the same.
We don't really prepare a concert like that. We have never thought about it. It's just we just go on stage and do what's natural, and that's
I think probably that's also why, because I think both of us agree with you that Tsjuder has always been kind of a live band and not an album band. And maybe it's because on stage we do our thing, like it's natural for us. It's not, we are not kind of talking to each other and you have to do this and you have to do that and remember to do this, blah blah blah. We're not doing that. We just go on stage and play. So but yes, we would like to improve our stage performance as well. I mean, to bring more effects, and especially it would be nice to have, you know, one dedicated guy doing lights. But we still don't have that much money, so it's just not economically possible to do that, to bring 10 people. I mean, if we are lucky, we bring a sound guy. But we try to have our own sound guy. We do that. So that's another only thing.
Okay. Well, talking about the live presentations, one big gig arrived very soon in November when you will play it in Mexico Metal Fest with a lot of great stuff there. So perhaps for this opportunity to play in Mexico, because some of the stuff on Metallerium will be there, perhaps you will prepare something very special for this opportunity to play in one of the big festivals here in this part of the world.
We haven't really planned that concert yet. We still have some months to figure out what we will do. So the only thing we know, which is planned, is that John Rice will play. So it will be me, Drauglin, and John Rice.
Right. Okay.
And then we need to talk to him, which songs he would like to play, and we have to discuss what we think will fit the best. And I don't remember yet, or I don't know how long we will play. So we will need to plan that when time is it's getting close.
Okay. Well, you told me one thing in the first question, John, that during the last years, well, the 8 years, you are releasing album. I see most of your old material reissued, and even more, there are, with this aspect, a lot of several bands are re-recording the classics from the 80s. And one is, for example, Sepultura now did the first EP and first album, like Morbid Vision. Re-recorded again, and I see you that you told me that Throne of the God I re-recorded again. So what's your opinion about this aspect to re-record all material to the new people? Well, me, I hear the band in 1997, but for new people, it's good or it's bad?
I think the reason, there are probably several reasons why we re-recorded Throne of the God. One of the reasons was that we were actually able to re-record it on the same date as the original, so it's exactly 20 years. And it was also Desecrator, who played drums, who he was also a driving force. He really wanted to do that. And it was 2 years after Anteliv, so it was about time that we did something, and it was a good opportunity to re-record it. So that's the reason why we did that. I forgot what else to say. Regarding Sepultura, I'm extremely. I'm really looking forward to listen to the re-recording of the 2 first albums. I just wish that Jairo was playing guitar. So to have the 100% original lineup would be cool.
Well, okay. Well, for black metal fans who are always looking for the sum of more and music and more good histories. Well, as you know, a lot of these like good histories, and I tell you, live presentation of Tsjuder are like a dark environment. How great things when you do the live, and also with this aspect, I always think like like a black metal fan that there will this like this kind of histories like Ulver carved their album in the woods. Timo Borgir create that song in the woods, etc. This kind of stuff is very attached from the black metal. So could you introduce us a bit to these stories that this new album bring us to us?
You mean like the lyrics, or
Yeah, perhaps the lyrics, something special happened during this. Well, something special happened during the recording of the process of this new album. A little history that is very important to you that keep in mind all the time. No?
I think when we were working on the album, at least for me, I got quite much flashbacks from the 90s. And one example of that is that me and Drauglen, we made a video for the song Helvegger. The video, I'm not sure when the Season of West will release it. And I think that's a very good representation of our feeling when making most of the album, actually, because it's at least for me it was it really brought back memories from the early days.
Okay. Well, before we go, how is your life outside of music? Can you enjoy it without having to go out every day to a job, or you don't like it, or can you live satisfactorily without outside of the music? And do you into your the black metal count based on the satisfaction into the music, or perhaps how is your everyday outside of the music in general?
it's not particularly. It's nothing interesting. We have like jobs, of course, because there's no way you can live off a band like Tsjuder, and I like nature, climbing, stuff like that.
It's quite regular. You need to work, and I mean, we have families, kids, so it's enough to do. It's too little time to make music, actually. So
Okay. So one aspect well, it's common thing, for people like me for over the 40 years old, is when you are a metalhead since the old days to now, and you cross this line of the metalhead scene, go to the normal life. Always, there is a person. No, it's a person like if you don't wear black, you're not metalhead outside the scene. If you don't like t-shirt like that t-shirt, you're not metalhead. Something like that. If you are in a traditional ceremony, you perhaps you hear folk music, different kind of style of music, and these persons inside of the metal scene are judging you. They say, hey, this person don't hear black metal outside the metal scene. So what is your opinion about this aspect? Always there's like the metal headers has to be like the has like the metal head all the time. No, it's no.
I find it quite strange. I don't care. For me, people can do whatever they would like, as long as it doesn't affect me in any way. I think the people, if people are saying stuff like that, it's probably them who has a problem.
I really don't care at all. I don't feel I have anything to prove for those people. So fuck that.
I don't think anyone has ever said anything like that to us.
No,
At least not
it's
too much.
it's just as a question outside from the Tsjuder. No, for you in general.
Yeah, no, but I think the people saying that they have a problem.
Yes, they have.
Especially when it comes to, you mentioned different kinds of music, and I think if you are going to compose music, you need to listen to different kinds of music, not only black metal. And I think that's one of the characteristics when I talk with other people that are good composers. They usually listen to lots of styles, not only metal. And I think that is a part of why you can continue to be creative and not just repeat yourself too much all the time.
Yeah, that is true. Well, we're very close on this interview, guys, and for that, what are the future plans that the band has for this new album? Perhaps you will embark in tours in Europe or America. Oh, well, you will play in November here in Mexico Metal Fest. Perhaps you will extend that gig with more gigs in Latin America. Who knows?
Who knows? The problem is that we can't say too much because we have some unannounced stuff, and hopefully things will be announced quickly. But I can say that we don't have many concerts in 2023.
Okay.
Hopefully we will play more in 2024. Yeah, I think that's about it, and I would just encourage the Latin American people to watch the news.
Okay. Well, with that news, I think some bigger news will reveal soon. So,
Yeah.
so
We will see.
We will see. Yes. So, well, guys, the sad times are wrapped this interview. I hope you enjoy doing this like me. Terrific guys, love your band since the Kill for Satan or since Throne of God in 1997 to now. This album is a great one too. And congratulations on this new album. Perhaps do you want to add something to your Latin American fans that expect a full tour gig in the coming months, weeks, years, who knows? And Metalero followers.
Yeah, now we totally appreciate you doing this interview with Tsjuder. So it's our pleasure. Yeah, we have total respect for the whole Latin America and all the music that's been produced there and also the people.